Hello, good evening everybody, welcome along to the JACKOCAR Cup Series, here for Season 5, Round 14. It is the Mexico City Grand Prix, and we are going to be losing two more of our playoff drivers tonight. Gareth and Jordan on the drop zone point as it stands. Will we get any twists tonight? I'm your commentator Owen White. With me as always is the big man Jacko.
Hello, good evening everyone. How do you refer to me as big man? Big as in wide or big as in my name's above the door?
Your name's above the door, your name is literally the league, your name is everywhere. I'm surprised there isn't a driver that's actually modelled himself off you yet.
Oh, that's the kind of compliment I'm here for. You can stay for another season if you want, Owen.
Good stuff, good stuff, good stuff.
Anyway, welcome to Mexico City, round 14, or the round of 8 in the second race, an elimination race in JACKOCAR once again. As you say, we lose two more drivers, and we expect them to be Jordan and Gareth. However, this is JACKOCAR, and you never quite know, do you?
Yeah, plenty of things can and have happened in the last few weeks, which has made me think that we may well see a surprise tonight. I always sort of say this, but it really is worth pointing out again. If you've missed any of the playoff races so far, yes, you might be getting spoilers tonight, but you've got to be watching these things back. We've had classic after classic after classic. It's a season that I've actually enjoyed watching back myself a lot more, because it started off a bit slow, didn't it? But my goodness, we have had just some of the best races in the league's history. I think all the drivers are enjoying it a lot more as well. And yeah, it's good to see that everyone is looking forward to another race tonight. And I reckon Mexico City, we've seen some surprising results come here before, where J-Luke went from the back to end up winning by like 20 odd seconds, you know. It's a track that we have good racing on, a track that you have interesting strategy on, no jokers, so everyone's going to have to make use of the two stops, along with these safety cars. I think it's going to be another classic tonight, I really do.
A track with history, but believe it or not, it's only the second time we've been here as a league race. Of course, the viewers who have a good memory will remember this is where we made it 2-0 against our good friends at One Hub Racing. And of course, Nick had to do his tame forfeit of going into a local BP garage and buying, what is it, 2 or 3 orange items, or orange in colour.
Yes.
I think he bought a Tropicana and an orange 12 from memory.
So that's
but
not even a punishment.
Either way, it's 2-0. It's not a punishment. It was entertainment.
Oh.
It was entertainment on the Twitter feed.
I reckon we need a round 3 for that. Get them to do a proper punishment.
They don't want it, do they? One Hub is scared.
Oh.
Anyway.
Wow. Their loss.
Anyway, first out, Arnold in place of Kyle Smith. He's back, and remember, a 15th place finish or better will see him achieve 800 points in the league. It's never been done by anyone else. He is the all-time points leader, and he's back for the third time this season.
Yeah, always nice to see Arnold, but it's weird to see him out of his traditional colours. This is a very unique scheme. I don't think anyone's done anything even remotely like this at any point this season. So he's gone for the sort of splattered paint look, but the colours he's chosen, yellow, blue and orange. So he's kept his traditional helmet design, but the rest of it, very different.
Vibrant JACKOCAR colours, if you will. A lot of blue peeking out. He did ask me for help. I just said go JACKOCAR style, as I would. Lots of blue, lots of yellow, but it looks good. Very different. No one else has done this. And hopefully Arnold gives us a time for the rest of the drivers to chase this evening. He is expected to be one of the fast ones, but obviously Track Evolution may put pay to his pole position hopes as we begin the qualifying in Mexico. Owen Wyatt.
Gotta be said that this sort of livery fits well at a sort of festival, and this is one of the most festival-like races you'd get all season, so I reckon it would fit with the crowd, and I hope they'd be happy to see it as he comes through towards turn 1, one of the longest straights on the entire game, and such a tricky set of chicanes to get through. You've got to basically cut all of them, but just about enough to stay in track limits. Arnold has lost at the end of it, and he's gone invalid, and so from what I am hearing, we're in for one of the wettest races we've ever seen. And they're saying the qualifying is going to be absolutely vital to who wins this race. So Arnold who's going to be starting 16th at best, he will be having that sinking feeling.
Yeah, but then again, knowing it's going to be a full wet race, it's, you expect a few to crash out, don't you? But I have also read the same comments as you. Lots of rain on the way.
It's going to be typhoon conditions, monsoon. We could get even safety cars from that. They've got the thunder and lightning and all sorts coming out here. Really,
tell you what,
does look a very interesting set of conditions.
Any of the drivers in chat that are listening to the stream, if you could send us a picture of the weather for the race, that would be good for us. But Arnold completes his invalid lap, and we move to Tez, who isn't here. So we move straight to Connor Byers with his best result of the season last week in Brazil. P5 on the road, but took home P9 after penalties. Into turn 1 he goes.
Let's see how he does compared to Arnold. Again, he's going a little bit wide on the exit of the chicanes, but he has survived, and it means he will automatically have done better than Arnold's done. Arnold, who, yeah, it's a shame to see him fall into the back of the grid, but if there's anyone who would fall back to the rear of the field and do well, it would be him. So, yeah, looking forward to seeing, like I say, what he could do from down there. But Connor, as he heads through into the tricky S section, you've got to be so committed. It's where you gain and lose all of your time on this track, and you can see he's just taking it easy enough to get through there relatively quickly. Not the quickest you'll see it done today, but it keeps him all good and valid. And now into the stadium section, this place is going to light up later on in the race when all the cars come through. But for now, they're watching one car at a time, and that car, Connor, rounds the final corner, and he will set the benchmark, a 1 minute 16.3.
As we move on to OKK, he had another one of his races last week where he started off promising, and then it fell apart for him. What a shame. We'd all love to see OKK have a solid race. It just hasn't happened for 300 years as he approaches the end of Sector 1 and into this horrible right-hander. I don't know anybody who likes that corner, but if you get good traction out of it, you can find an easy 3-4 tenths. Nicely done for the next part of the lap. Here comes OKK into the fast S section. I think there's a few drivers who like this one. There he goes.
Does feel like such a long time since he had some success in this league, doesn't it? And it's not going to continue tonight if he qualifies like that. I always forget, didn't he win the first ever race?
He did.
And did he win the first ever Joker, or is he one of the first Jokers?
He wasn't the first Joker winner, but he did win the first throwback race, which was Monza Season 2.
But no, the point is, he won it on a Joker, didn't he? You know, he's steeped in JACKOCAR history, really, but it's just been so long since he's been able to write another fade into the history books. I'm sure it'll happen at some point. Unfortunately, that qualifying hasn't helped him, but yeah, I think a lot of people maybe here are new to JACKOCAR. I don't realise just how influential this guy was, actually.
And still influential to this day as well. If it wasn't for OKK, he's the man that runs the Kia series. Without him, there is no Kia series.
No, next up I think is Jake, and he is coming through the final turn now.
It's Mike.
Mike. Well, Jake for some reason finished
it is
lap
Jake.
first.
It is Jake. I do apologise to Jake. We missed his lap. Now it's Mike.
Yes. Well, luckily I was watching Jake because I was pretty sure that I was right, and I was, thank goodness. As NK Bourne comes through the first sector, this is still one of my favourite liveries of the season. Like, seriously, I don't know if I want to put it top yet or not, but at some point we're going to have to decide like a best livery of the whole season, and this one, my goodness, every time we see it, it just looks so nice.
Yeah, it's one of those that I say it's modelled off of the Ryan Blaney body armour car. You say it's something else.
Yeah, I see the old Penske's, even like from 5 or 6 years ago.
Well, Ryan Blaney is a Penske driver.
Well, Indy cars, I think Indy car, you think NASCAR. Same concept, I suppose. We both know what we're talking about when it comes to liveries like this.
Oh, Mike.
Got too greedy there, didn't he? That's going to cost him.
He sure did.
And, yeah, no time on the board.
Sullivan Lewis, then. Is he changed? Is this a new livery, or has he changed his livery? As he finishes his lap and goes P2, there's a lot more pink on that car this week. I think it looks quite nice.
Yeah, he's used colours like this before, I just don't think in this format. It's brought him a second place so far today, but yeah, he's showing the livery off and the helmet designed to go with it. But yeah, he's a P2 right now, and we can now move on to Jamie Griffiths, who's right behind NK Bourne, who hopefully will move out of the way, and he does. This livery I'm still a fan of, by the way. Nice to see the white and the green. He's so often done black and green, and he still fades it to black a little bit at the rear, but certainly it's like kind of an Earth Dreams colours, kind of. If he'd put some blue into there, you know, even fade to blue at the back, you know, then we'd have a proper winner on our hands. Think about it, you know. Hit me up, I'll design it for you.
Oh, invalidated anyway. There's a lot of drivers struggling tonight. I'll tell you what, just quickly before we go to Pete Knighton, if you check your Twitter DMs, Owen, you have the weather for the race.
Ah, very exciting. We will put Pete on for this straight, and I will look at the weather.
And tell me what you think. And explain what you've seen to the viewers. 90% chance of rain.
Yeah, it seemed. And so, at around the 10-minute mark in the race, people hit the worst of the conditions. And we've seen in previous F1 games, I've seen anyway, that when you hit the thunder and lightning section of the rain, where it's so heavy, you do get safety cars. It can bring a safety car out. So you could end up with some really hard racing for the first 10 minutes of the race. And then when this downpour happens, not only will people start to fall off the track, but you will get a safety car. Perhaps it'll even be heavier than what we had to deal with last time we went go-karting, you know? Oof.
It'll be heavier than that.
The PTSD
that
from
was
that
good
one.
Fun, though.
Backwards, spinning every lap. Here comes Pete, who has abused every track limit known to man, but gotten away with it and gone P1.
He's also allowed to in qualifying, so fair play. Lovely livery as well. Very different for Pete.
Very Mexican.
Mexican colours. Yeah, very Mexican.
I'm a fan.
Who's next? Ben Harrett. Or Ben for Spurs says he won't be here next season because Tottenham are in the Champions League. It'll definitely be here the season after because they'll be eliminated before Christmas.
Yeah,
but he comes in the stadium section.
He might even be able to like show up a little bit earlier on when they get knocked out, you know, really early. Although actually not too early though. Like they can finish 4th in their group. You know, I don't want to face them in the Europa League. We'll lose Arsenal. But anyway, second fastest for Ben. Not too bad that.
And Yori's changed up his livery as well. What is this based off of?
I haven't.
Is it possibly a Manor? A Alexander Rossi Manor? That's what I'm thinking. He's invalidated anyway.
Could be a shout. It is the right colours, isn't it? Not necessarily arranged correctly. The 2016 Manor is a difficult one to recreate, though, in fairness. But that could be what he's going for. I don't know any other cars with this sort of colour combination. I know Alex Rossi's Indy car. If he'd replaced the Revis in pink, then I suppose that would work there, but obviously he hasn't done that. He crosses the line, a time that would have put him 3rd fastest, but instead puts him last. And let's move on to SD Max.
Everyone's favourite Estonian. I'll tell you what, this livery is becoming one of those iconic ones now, isn't it? We see it every week. Nice guy, nice livery. Everyone wants him to do well. And it's just one of those liveries that is instantly recognisable. Wow. And he invalidates.
This is getting really interesting because all these guys losing times, it will have an effect on this race. It really will. This is a big curveball, and I did not expect to lose this many laps at this stage of the game. We only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more times to come on the board. That means we're only going to get a maximum of 13 qualifiers out of 19. That's a real surprise to me. And I think Gareth has just had an accident, so that is 12. We're only going to get 12. And that's a big blow for his chances of staying in the playoffs. It was already pretty low, but that accident will not help his chances. Now we've got Corey on the lap. See how he gets on. Still don't know if I'm a massive fan of this livery. I'm not entirely sure what he's going for. Is he going for Hamilton colours, I suppose?
It's Hamilton's helmet, isn't it?
Doesn't really look much like it, does it?
The yellow's spot on, I think.
Yeah,
the purple.
It's just a bad base, I suppose. Mind you, I can only imagine that final livery for this type of thing will be very difficult because the game doesn't really let you have much control over your designs. But this has been a very shaky lap so far. He's been right on the edge of every corner. but it might just pay off for him because he's kept it valid so far.
Pete saying his middle sector was awful as well, so we expect somebody to go faster than him now. I don't know if 15.5 was the benchmark, but I think it could be beaten very soon. We are into the active playoff drivers, still looking to get into the Championship 5. Around the final corner comes Corey to the line. It's a new P1. And that 2/10 quicker that he went than Pete is what he made up in Sector 2. So Pete absolutely spot on.
And Jordan just keeping it valid. I don't think it's as fast, but he will register a time. And it'll get him into the top 12 at least. If he can beat Risky and Connor, he'll guarantee a top 10 start. So he'll be happy enough if he can achieve that as he comes around the final corner. I don't think it's going to be anywhere near the top, though. It doesn't look quite on that pace. And it is actually the slowest time we have seen so far. So maybe he'll be a little bit disappointed by that. But here's J-Luke, and well, that is a surprise, not seeing him on the mediums. That's how bad the rain's going to be at the start of the race. Because this must have been one of the first tracks where we saw him employ this medium strategy in the qualifying. I remember we made such a big deal about it at the time, but the set of sauce he saved, he then used to win the race. So, yeah. And then he won that title as well. And he's now a race winner this season, of course. Took him long enough, didn't it? But
keeps it valid. You can do that. And of course, you know, I said earlier in the stream, we've only been here once before. It was Jamie that won that race, 28.5 seconds ahead of Arnold, who was second on that day. But what can he do? Is it good enough for pole?
Oh wow!
That's a moment. Probably not now.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised that's even gone second. Just imagine how quick he would have been without those little mistakes. No.
Have you noticed as well, the sun has come out for the final 5 drivers here?
I have noticed that indeed. And Casper will hopefully be enjoying the benefits as he comes through. And very much on the edge, isn't he? Let's see, middle sector, 56.0, seems competitive enough. I've got to say, the little bit of lime green, yellowy highlighter trim on the gold, I'm not a fan of. Just really get rid of it for the next race, please. Thank you.
I can see what he's tried to do, but it's not quite paid off, has it? What about this lap, though? Will that pay off? Casper to the line! It's P1!
I'm not very good at hyping up big laps, as you can probably tell with my abuse of his livery rather than the focus on his fastest lap.
Good job I turned up there in the last 3 seconds, wasn't it?
What would I do about you?
Not a lot. Here comes Kieran then into Sector 2. A man still searching for his first race win.
And you think tonight will be his night? He doesn't. He doesn't like this place.
I didn't tell him that. I did say to Iceman that this is Kieran's night. I didn't want to put the pressure on him, but if he's listening to the stream, he's heard it now.
Well, right now,
and of course, a wet race, anything can happen.
Right now, this is I think a top 3 time. It depends if he loses stuff in the last sector, though. If he can hold the pace, though, that's not a bad spot. And he does go third fastest. Will Mash and Iceman beat him? I would imagine so. And so Kieran, I mean, if he finishes 5th tonight, he'll be happily into the next stage of the playoffs. And so he will not mind at all. But he is aware that he is falling back a little bit in the standings. He needs to get himself back into that top 4. Because that is all vital in 2 races time. As Red Matt, well, he's lucky not to put it in the wall, but I suppose it doesn't really matter now, does it? Because he's going to be starting 14th on the grid. Not useful to him at all.
Red Matt already advanced to round of 6 as well, so he can afford to have a poor qualifying, but he still needs points as we move to Iceman. Of course, pole position last week in wherever we were, Brazil. Yep.
And let's see if he can keep it valid and if he can go pole position. He is another one of the drivers who is automatically through into the next round. The third driver being Jamie because he won last week. And that automatically puts you through. Oh,
keeps it valid.
Jeez, that was on the edge, wasn't it? And it's rewarded him with the fastest middle sector of the day. And Iceman, he just keeps on getting better and better. But will he be able to put this one on pole? He's going to have a difficult race in front of him, but hopefully he won't have to look at any of the spray as he comes out of the final corner and sees the checkered flag.
It's a good lap, it's a good lap, it's P1. Wow.
Very good.
14.8. Crazy.
That's what we would like to see from him. He has been so good this season at all. Like, I do wonder how many people think he's going to win the title now. I mean, I'll happily say I think he's becoming my favourite. He's been great to watch every week, honestly. It's so good to see the statement coming together. We've been waiting for this for so long, and every week I'm waiting for it to fall apart, and he puts it on pole again.
And that's for the 6th time this season as well, so he now goes clear of Red Matt for most poles out of all the drivers this season, and I think he goes 5th on the all-time list as well. All 6 of his poles come in this season. 3 wins for Iceman, 2 this season, 1 last. 2 of those in Portugal. But that is another point towards the Championship 5.
I think Kieran's complaining about Red Matt abusing track limits. I think he'll find that he got his lap removed because of that. But anyway, Iceman's on pole, Casper 2nd, Corey 3rd, Kieran 4th, Jamie 5th, Pete 6th, Ben 7th, Jake 8th, Risky 9th, Connor 10th, and Jordan 11th. That's it. Everyone else, NK Born, SD Match, Red Matt, Jamie, Gareth, Arnold, OKK, and Yuri, they all invalidated their laps. That is a massive amount of missed opportunities. And a lot that can be recovered in a race. That is going to be very exciting to see Arnold and Red Matt coming through the field in the worst conditions we may ever see in a JACKOCAR race. I'm serious. That's how it's been billed to us here. And it's certainly what the game seems to be telling us. And it's now what you can see on your screen. Now, I'm noticing people... The garage that you can see open there has intermediates sitting there. If they put inters on with the puddles like that, I'd be quite surprised. But we'll see.
Just updating my stats ready for the race so that I don't have to watch it back later on, unless of course it's a classic, in which case I will. So I've had to watch back the last few. Just a reminder to all drivers, well, not all drivers, all viewers, the stage points tonight are lap 9 and lap 18. There are no jokers, so this is a pure race, if you will, minus the JACKOCAR rules that often get in the way.
Yeah, they do often cause issues, which is always great fun for us in the commentary box. We absolutely love doing this type of thing, and I think a race like today should be just something you should all be looking forward to. I'm looking forward to it. I mean, the run to turn 1 is going to be brilliant. Now, we're about to see what everyone's going to start on, because that garage with the intermediates on, I refuse to believe that's what we're actually starting on. But no, it is. And that means we are going to potentially be seeing some pit stops. But look at this. We've got a split of tyres. Oh, this is brilliant. Right, okay. We've got Kieran, we've got Risky, we've got Red Matt, Jamie, Gareth, and OKK, and there's already a car in the wall on the wets. But we have the 6 on the wets and the, oh my goodness, the 13 on inters. I didn't expect this to happen. What on earth is Kieran going to be like on the run to turn 1? Because in theory, we know the range due to get heavier, so he shouldn't have to pit. But the problem is that pit stop would be the first of 2 mandatories, and so will it pay off for the guy who starts on the right tyre, or will it be better for the guys who get to take up a pit stop going to the right tyre? That's the question, and it'll be one I'm very interested to see the answer in, because if the inter runners end up in the safety car situation when they have to pit, then that ruins their strategy. At least Kieran knows he's on the right tyre. But to be a strategist now. Oh,
you took the words right out of my mouth there. I mean, if the wet is the right tyre to be on, then doing 1 lap on inters and getting rid of a mandatory pit stop is a cracking idea, isn't it? But Kieran's going to have that 20-second advantage, but be a pit stop behind everyone else chasing him. You've also got to look at Risky, who can run well in the wet, Red Matt, Jamie Griffiths, Gareth and the OKK, the other wet runners there. It's thrown this absolutely wide open. I'm really not too sure what's going to happen. But, you know, my message earlier to Iceman, could be Kieran's night. Well, it's shaping up so far, isn't it? If they've nailed on the strategy for tonight. But we'll see. It looks juicy. Iceman and Casper on the front row. Corey fast as ever in P3. Kieran and most recent winner J. Luke are the top 5. The Pete there is the lead driver in the chase. What can he do? Can he put together a final 3 races and get himself back into a Championship 5, the first time since Season 1. We'll be looking to see what he can do. But Owen Wyatt, as the cars line up, it's that time of the week.
It is indeed that time once again, and we certainly do enjoy races that are unpredictable like this one. We expect this rain to grow heavier and heavier in the first 10 minutes of the race. That means the guys on inters are going to have to make a big impact on those on the wets in the early stages. But who's going to get off the line best? Will it be inter or will it be wet? All 5 lights are on. It's Iceman from Casper, and there's already a few jumping to start. They'll get to take the lead, I'm pretty sure of it. Boogity, 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 let's go racing. And you can see Ben is away. Connor's also away. Will that have distracted the other drivers? It looks like Corey's going to go through. He's already up into the net race lead as a result of perhaps the distractions of the guys coming through. Kieran's lost some ground, but as the top 2 pull away, are they going to cause any problems when the rest catch them? Because I imagine they probably will get caught, unless they of course pit at the end of the first lap. Iceman is into contact here with J-Luke. He's falling way down the field, and Kieran's going to have a go at him now. As side by side we see Casper and Corey nearly making contact as they head through. And oh my goodness, this is for the lead of the race. Ignore the front 2, they have to take their drive-through penalties. And I'm surprised more didn't jump, because I mean they jumped so early. It's so easy just to follow them.
It was so early. I thought they were in a different bit of lobby. You know, you occasionally get that bit of desync, but it was really early, wasn't it? Corey then, as you say, takes the net lead of the race as Connor struggles in front of him, but this allows Ben Harrett to get away, and he might gain a small advantage here. I know he's got to do that drive-through, but it's only a drive-through.
Well, I suppose he guarantees getting to the end of the first lap with no damage, doesn't he?
Absolutely.
As you see, side by side, Corey and Connor. Now, there's no need for Corey to be throwing his car at the inside. He knows that Connor will be getting out of his way. But Casper is going to pit. J-Luke as well. Now, what are they going to do? Are they going to put some wets on? Is this the sort of idea that I was thinking of? Yes, it is. They're going to be putting the wet tyres on. So that's the game plan then. Pit, get the first mandatory stop out of the way, and put some full wet tyres on. I'd be very surprised if anyone in the pits right now has put inters on, but Jake has. Jake has done this. I'm surprised because you wouldn't be able to get a full set of wets to the end. So has he done this by accident, putting inters on? Will he switch back at the end of the lap? What's the plan? As Arnaud is in 5th place now. So I mean, if he calls his strategy right, he's already done quite a lot of movement through the field. I mean, know how quick he is.
That includes, by the way, Arnaud cutting the grass at turn 3 on lap 1. But I'll tell you what, I've just worked out why Ben Harrett jumped the start. Remember I said last week, out of all the full-time drivers, he's the only one yet to lead a lap. Well, he just led lap 1. So all 20 full-time drivers have now led a lap in the Cup Series. That is the first time it's ever happened. But I think it's going to be Corey that leads lap 2.
Well, it depends. Will he pit? Will he stay out? Will he have to cover off what Casper did? Because if the wets are quick, then Casper might be able to undercut. It does look like Kieran's only about equal on pace, if not slightly slower. So that would suggest the undercut won't happen. But let's see. Are we going to see the top 2 into the pits? No, we are not. Corey's in. Iceman, or Corey stays out, but Iceman's in. And look at the pressure that SD Matsen is putting under. Putting onto Kieran. Is he going to go for the move, or is he just going to sit back? I think he's just going to sit back on it. As Gareth on the full wets, he needs a big race tonight, as does Jordan. They are Gareth 7th and Jordan is in 6th. Although here comes Pete trying to get Gareth, and his contact, and Gareth's gone around. Will that go to the stewards? He's only lost 1 place, Gareth, but it will cost him about 5 to 10 seconds. Has Pete got damage in his special Mexico livery? But it's a shame to see collisions out like that. But it's not a massive surprise in the wet. Now, Kieran really is struggling, so he needs this rain to get heavier, and soon. Absolutely. I was just looking as well. Not Kieran. Pete was last at the end of lap 1. He got spun at turn 1. So that's why he stayed out, trying to recover some ground, see if he can go longer in the inters on the better tyre. As SD Mats continues to hunt Kieran, who has a moment there, and it's going to give SD Mats a run. Will he go left or right? He chooses right, up the inside.
and through he goes.
Look at
And here
Arnold.
comes Arnold as well.
He'll try and get them both if he can, but he'll be aware that Kieran is still there as he just hounds the back of SD Mats. Diesel have lost 4 seconds on this lap to Corey. So that's what all the fighting has cost them, and Corey, I guess, will be relatively happy he stayed out for now, as Kieran falls down again into the pits. So he's going to go to intermediates, I assume. Gets his first stop out of the way, so starting on wet wasn't the right call from his point of view.
See where he drops to, but yeah, I think he's going to lose a massive time here, because here comes Iceman and Casper.
Yeah, they're straight through, aren't they? And
Chased
Iceman,
by Jake, by the way.
didn't actually mention it, Iceman was a long way in front, wasn't he, of Casper. He's put the intermediates on, that's why he's so far in front. So, yeah, the weather forecast, it does appear some people would think what I was thinking, that it was going to be full wet relatively quickly, but not quite happening that way just yet. And so inter runners are still, well, they're doing the right thing by staying on them, I suppose.
Absolutely, I agree. Well, perhaps it's just simply not time for the wet tyres. So you think all those guys who have pitted for inters, when it is the right time, they can go on the wets, and the wets will go to the end.
Yeah,
and that's how 2 mandatories done.
Exactly. You know, they might get it to the end in that scenario. It just depends when it falls and how your tyre wear is. I do imagine a safety car would help as well, depending on when you make the stop. Obviously, you can't do it under the safety car, but if you do it before it, or even after it, at least it gets into the end. Corey's happy enough still to stay out. This is where I wish that we got a weather forecast at the commentary box, and it actually boggles my mind that we don't. But look, it took us until what, F1 2019 to get the map, so you can imagine a lot of weather forecasts will take. And looks like Jordan and Pete are into the pits. I've just seen that J-Luke has been overtaken, has he?
Yeah, by Risky.
Yeah, Risky, who's on intermediates, so yeah, more evidence that these intermediates are better than the full wet as of right now.
Kieran, by the way, went for intermediates, and he's about to look for a move up the inside or outside of Jamie. It's going to be inside. And through he goes. That was nice and easy, wasn't it?
Yeah.
On the 2-time champion.
That's a concern. That is a concern. But I suppose you just sort of have to stick with it at this point, because even if you have 1 or 2 good laps where you can catch the time back up on these wets, when it gets to the point where you can use them, then it'll pay dividends for you. But for now, I mean, Corey's at the end of the middle sector and J. Luke's at the end of the first sector. So that tells you sort of where these guys are. And speaking of Corey, he's looking so comfortable out here. I don't really see how anyone's going to stop him unless he stops him as of right now.
He or a safety car. You know how these things go.
Well, yeah, I suppose that could also ruin him, although he does
Speaking of
seem...
which, there goes Red Matt.
Wow, that is a surprise to see Red Matt. If you get a virtual safety car.
Yeah, and Corey pits, that was sensible.
Yeah, so actually, it's a full safety car. He was already committed, though. He was already committed. We were on board, so that's fair enough. Oh, wow, look at this. So SD Mats and Arnold have decided that they're going to go for the... Surely this is the pit for intermediate or full wets, is it? What are they going to do? Because they made late decisions. Everyone seems to be pitting under this safety car. But it's all for intermediate tyres. You see, this now helps those who've pitted onto the wets. Because, possibly. Because it means that if the rain does come down hard, they'll be right on the inter-runners and they'll be able to take advantage on the restart. But anyone who's pitting seems to be happy enough to go for inters.
Iceman pitted there, as well as Casper and Risky.
And I don't think we're going to have any actual wet runners in the field anymore after this, because I don't see Jamie putting more wets on, so the whole field is going to be on intermediates.
I've just reviewed the footage there. Arnold and SD Mats were in before the safety car was announced. They pitted under VSC.
I don't think they did.
I just watched back the stream. They were fine.
Well, I don't know. I'd actually dispute that one, to be honest with you, but because I was on board with Corey and he hadn't even made it into the pit lane. I mean, he was just about into the pit lane. You saw the safety car's model pop up that we docked, and I think Corey was the only one who could have been committed at that point because he had a 7-second lead.
Don't forget, the drivers have a different perspective from what we get in terms of graphics.
So what, ours is wrong then, is it, I suppose?
Ours is wrong. So, well, we can call it as wrong on the stream, but we'll actually be wrong ourselves.
That's a useful feature, isn't it?
Yeah. So from what I can work out, Arnaud and ST Mats, they are mandatory stops. But the first one in that was non-mandatory was Mike, and he was followed by Iceman, Casper, Risky, J-Luke, and Connor, also making non-mandatory stops there. Ben Spurs, by the way, he's going to lead another lap here.
Yeah, I know. You spend all this time waiting to lead one lap, and 2 come at once, and 3, and 4, and probably 5. Very exciting times. So, yay. Now you've led a legal lap. And unfortunately, of course, the problem he hasn't actually made any stops yet, because the drive-through didn't really count. But oh well.
At least he's got 2 laps led on the board, hasn't he? So he can rejoin us partway through season 6 as a reserve, probably filling in the chase and saying, "Oh, I've led some laps in JACKOCAR before."
Yeah, he's got pedigree.
But I wish I was here full time, because Tottenham have broke my heart.
Yeah.
Watching them in the Champions League.
You could have had me gloating about it all season, but instead you just have me gloating about it for half a season. Or you can just cut your losses and join us now. I mean, nothing stops you. I mean, Champions League's on a Tuesday, isn't it? Anyway, on a Wednesday. So actually, no, you'd be able to play the full season. Oops.
Oh yeah. Why am I thinking? Oh, that's a good point, isn't it? So
yeah, it's probably at this point I should tell you that I'm actually the one who's leaving. To watch Arsenal on the Thursday.
You wouldn't. JACKOCAR doesn't break your heart like Arsenal do.
It actually, yeah, to be fair, every time we've been doing a JACKOCAR race and I've left it at the end to watch Arsenal play, or even in that one scenario during a safety car to watch, we've been losing. So, yeah, probably don't fancy keeping that streak going, but, well, maybe we'll win something next season. Anyway, all this football chat, and we still are yet to have OKK and Jamie catch up to the safety car. You'll notice they both pitted for wets. So we will have some on wets. Yippee. Always good. Jamie and OKK have now made 3 stops each. I assume at least one of those have to be mandatory each.
J-Luke's done 2 non-mandatories. OKK's done 1 non-mandatory.
So does that mean OKK's finished his strategy now?
OKK's strategy is finished, yeah.
Fantastic, because he'll get to catch up to the back of the safety car, and if the rain does come down hard, he will effectively be our leader. So that's good news. If you are an OKK fan, we were talking about his history in the JACKOCAR books as J-Luke pits again.
Everyone's an OKK fan, but yeah, J-Luke does pit again. That's an odd one.
That'll leave OKK now as the only intermediate, or the only wet representative. Or is he gonna pit? He's gonna pit as well. Are we just gonna? Are we trying to keep the safety car out for like the rest of the race or something? Like, well, it has to come in at some point, guys. You can't just keep pitting.
It will be this lap as well, so that's the 3 that you always get under a safety car. Inters for OKK, and away he goes again.
I mean, sometimes...
Can he catch the field up? He should, but it'll be tight.
I mean, sometimes we get 4 laps of safety car, although we must already be on to lap 3 or 4, as you said, so... In fact, we're on... well, we'll see. Has Risky been off? Risky's been off. And he's spun off, and he'll recover, but he's now 16th. Now, let's see. Are we going to see those lights go off? Ben Harrett will have a pretty simple safety car restart to negotiate tonight. It's literally as simple as the curb, the start of the curb before the start finish line, because there's no grid slots before, and the safety car is in this lap. I'm not sure OKK will catch it unless he does a properly good middle sector. But yeah, Ben literally, you see the way that curb starts there? It's literally as simple as the start of the curb. It's as simple as that. So as long as Ben can get that right and not have any incidents, we can get a clean restart.
I'm not sure if Ben's ever done a restart.
Well, he can't have
not
done.
in Cups.
He's never led a lap.
Not in Cup Series. He's done a few Kia races though, so he might have some experience. But let's hope he gets it right. Everyone knows the procedure.
Someone's in the wall. It's MK Bourne. Oh, warming his tyres up. He's put it in the wall. Now, restart. Oh, Ben's lost it as well. But ironically, it may have actually helped him out there because Corey had the jump, but he had to put the brakes on. He still, though, has the tow. And what about SD Matt? He'll be looking about this as well, because they're going to go side by side in towards turn 1. It's going to be Corey surely in front of Ben, but Ben's going to give him a good fight here. He's going right on the outside. He's held on to the lead. Brilliant stuff. There'll be a playoff point in this for him at the end of this lap, I think, as well, if he can just hold on.
There will. Lap 9 and lap 18. Maybe that's what he's going for. By the way, MK Bourne's made another pit stop. That is non-mandatory because he's followed the safety car in. But meanwhile, Ben holds on to the lead with Corey chasing him.
And that's such a shame that to see MK Bourne with the crash there, because it cost him so dear. Now, J-Luke's falling down a little bit as well. He's being attacked by Risky, and they're going side by side in towards the S's. Jamie looks to have fought back, but Risky is going to still throw one up his inside again. This has safety car written all over it if they're not careful, these two. Looks like Jamie's just going to hold on for now. But Jamie, who's made 4 stops in today's race, he's hoping he's made his last one by now, but Risky and the other Jamie are fighting away. Look at this for a fight.
Oh, wow.
Unfortunately, the game will refuse to give me a good camera angle, but finally we get to see how it ends at the very least. And that appears to be with Green Jamie at the head of the group. These guys basically fighting for last place, essentially, the ones who aren't in some sort of incident or have taken too many pit stops under a safety car. And they're still going. Risky and Jamie have been going the whole lap. This is brilliant stuff. No, let's quickly see if Corey...
picks up the stage point, by the way.
I was wondering if Corey was going to go for the move, but he didn't in the end. I think the only people fighting here are going to be Jamie and Risky. These two... Oh no, saying it, Jamie's going to go on Green Jamie here at the inside. This is brilliant stuff from these guys. It's a shame this isn't happening at the front. I mean, some days this would be a leading fight. You know, all 3 of these guys know what it's like to fight at the front.
Just all race winners as well.
Not quite happening today, but look at this. Jamie and Jamie going for it again, side by side. And, well, Jamie's going to come out on top at some point, but just which one? And looks like it'll be J-Luke, the 2-time champion, finally gets to the head of the group. And that took a lot longer than he probably expected. Good entertainment, though. Enjoyed
Absolutely. That. And Ben Harrett still leads this race. Is he going to go for a 6th lap lead in JACKOCAR from none to 6? Not bad. Keeping a 4-time race winner behind him in Corey. All-star champion, Championship 5 appearance as well. Hell of a record does Corey have. It's certainly improved this season, though, compared to what it was with his average finish of 16th. And Ben Harrett will lead lap 10.
I think Corey's had a mistake out of the last corner, so he's lost some time. That'll give Ben some encouragement. Who else is flying away? It looks like Jordan has been overtaken by Casper.
He's catching up to Corey as well.
Yeah, that's not a surprise with the mistake, I suppose, but it's good he's been able to keep intact in the meantime. I mean, Arnold as well, you'd expect him to be doing something soon. And I think Ben's now made a mistake, and is Corey going to have a go at the lead? He's burning a lot of VRS doing this, as is Ben, but can he get the move right on the outside? That's a brave one. And looks like Arnold might be about to have an accident. He just about avoids it, but Corey is going to take the lead of the race. He pushes Ben Howard off the road to do so. But it's hard racing. Bumping is racing, and he's gone and got his way through. And so a few mistakes are happening there. But most importantly, I guess, he's got himself clear of the car he has to pit yet. Kieran, has to be said, he got ahead of Arnold during the whole incident that he had. He just broke simply too late. And now Ben picks up a penalty. If Kieran can get himself by SD Matt, there's a P2 there for him. And I think he'd like that quite a lot, really. Because he did make a mandatory stop, and so he's on the same level as this. He's a net third as it stands,
and all over the back of Christian as well. Kieran would love that, by the way.
Oh, nice.
Ben Spurs will pit here. But yeah, Kieran would love that. You got to think Red Matt's out of this race as well. Iceman not having the best race.
Here he comes.
And here goes Kieran for P2.
Losing already like 3 seconds though to the race leader. That's mad.
SD Mass is going to come back on him.
That is surprising.
Down the inside. Wow, what a move.
Kieran, you've been mugged there, mate. Oh, a nice hit, SD Matt. Where's Arnold going to go? We're on board, just waiting to see if he can find a gap to get himself through. But instead, it's going to be Jake getting him. Will Kieran go for the move that Corey went for? No, is the answer to that, because I think Estimat is broken too deep. And can Kieran get around the outside? Very nicely. I think Arnai might well do it as well. So, Estimat put up a good fight, but he's going to get done in 3-4 cars in one go. Just like that. And can I just say, this rain looks like it's slowly beginning to get lighter. And if it gets light enough, or, you know, there's a long way to go in this race. If the rain stops, then these guys will end up on dries at the end, and that could be very interesting indeed. Some people will have had quite the variety of tyres on tonight by the end of it.
Yeah, I wonder what the optimum strategy will be. We'll only find out at the end of this race.
Oh, look at Jordan nearly spinning off. Obviously, Jordan desperately trying to keep his season intact. And he's got Iceman pressuring him as Yuri crawls into the pits. Here comes Iceman. Penalty to his name, but that's not going to stop him from making overtakes. And he's up into 7th place now. Gareth is now being attacked by Jamie as well. So the two drivers at risk tonight, at serious risk, have been overtaken on the same straight. And will Gareth be able to fight back? He throws him up the inside of Jamie, but it is not enough to try and get the position back. And so Gareth loses a place, Jordan loses a place, and they look both to be losing their spot in the playoffs as it stands.
Yeah, well, to update the viewers on how that's going, Gareth comes into this minus 22 points off of the cut line, so he's in a virtual must-win situation. And Jordan is minus 15, so he needs at least a P2. That's how bad things are for those two, and currently 8th and 10th, they're not doing enough. So it looks like we're going to have a round of 6 filled with J-Luke, Redmat, Iceman, Casper, Corey and Kieran. And to tell you what, you mentioned about keeping your season alive. P4, Jake O'Sullivan. He's brought his season to life, hasn't he? He's already leading the chase by quite some margin. 8 points, in fact, over Risky. And he's just powering on now, isn't he?
Well, he's taking a different route to the playoffs than to the Championship than we thought he would, but he does appear to be on his way there. And obviously we saw the quite extraordinary way he lost out on it last season in Monaco. I think he'd be quite happy to have a full front wing intact, not be literally being a roadblock to the whole field on a 2-lap shootout. You know, I think he'll prefer this method, let's just say, of getting through, and it does look like it's going his way as it stands. Unless something goes wrong in the next 2.5 races, he should be all right.
I'm sure he's liking his 8-point buffer, but won't want to rely on it. He is the lead chase driver as it stands. The next closest to him is all the way down in P11. It's Connor Byers, and then Risky, who is P2 in the chase behind him. So yeah, Jake having a great race so far.
Right then, so we're not even at the halfway point of this race yet. It feels like so much has happened. And a few more penalties are still coming through. I think Jake and Risky just picked up one there. I think Jake, the problem with him a little bit of points this season has been the penalties, and the 15 seconds he's got now isn't really going to help him out if we get any more safety cars, etc., because that really could knock him right towards the back of the field, actually. This happened at Spa, I want to say, as well, didn't it? Where he just ended up with a lot of penalties. In a good position.
When we were talking about him, I didn't realise he had 15 seconds worth of penalties, but still on the road P4, so he can take as well on the road P5, but he can still take encouragement from it. The next car behind him is the recovering Christian Hataro, the number 15 car, in your car that is.
Yeah. The 1-5. I took ownership of that car, but then he got it back. I'll get it back one day, maybe, if Jacko lets me. Anyway, looks like J-Luke has got himself up into P8 now, ahead of Jordan. Jordan, who wants to try and fight back, but decides against it. He could have thrown one up the inside there. It may not have worked, though, and it's a bit of a risk. So he decided to sit back and just keep his car in the running. There's no point to blow it now, just in case something happens at the end and you lock your way into a win or something. It can happen.
J-Luke, by the way, sits 39 points behind Redmat, who is out of this race. Keep that in mind.
You'd be glad at a race win.
A race win would half of it, would halve that deficit. Corey leads another lap, sets another fastest lap. He's in a class of his own. Kieran trails by 5 seconds. He's hanging on, but it's not enough. Jake pits.
Is this where we find out he's only made no stops so far as well? Nah, this is his second stop. This is his first stop. Hold on, is it? It's actually his first stop? No, it isn't. It took a while to update it. There we go.
Yeah. I think the car has to be getting serviced for it to count as a stop, doesn't it? In the game.
No, we're just waiting to see what happens next, really. We're just, will the raid stop? Will we get any DRS? Because a lot of these guys will be looking at that. I mean, in real life, we have seen intermediates be usable in DRS. Not an Imola, mind you. And we've still never given an explanation for that when that happened this season. But, I mean, point is, I wish EA and Codemasters would sort of put that into this game at some point, but we're sort of sitting here waiting for things to happen, because there's 3 DRS zones on this track. This is the third one. The other one's up towards turn 1, and then the other one's on the exit of that first tricky set of chicanes. But yeah, not much happening. They're just trying to survive out there.
Yeah, very tame. Not the classic that we have been getting all through the postseason so far, but of course, only halfway through this race. There is a stage point available on the next lap.
And that looks pretty sure to be going to Corey. Might as well give him a little bit of attention while it's a bit quiet. He's 5.2 in front, so it's not exactly going to be, you know, breaking any records tonight, but he's so confident and he's so dominant. And he'd be on to, what, a 4th win this season if he can get this to the line. And that's actually something that I really wasn't expecting. Because, I mean, we always joke about how bad his record was when he first joined the league. But, like, you know, recently he's really just got himself right up there. And he's staying there. Now, Risky and Jamie having a ding-dong. Oh, and Gareth's just lost his playoffs. With that spin, I'd say that really does put it in the mud now, literally, as he recovers back onto the track. Down in 13th now, and that probably won't do the tyres much good either, but it shows that they're still struggling out there. Even though the rain's getting lighter, they still can't quite get their way round without the odd mistake.
You mentioned Corey staring at his 4th race win, and that would be his 5th all time if he picks up tonight. Puts him equal 5th on the records list, behind the obvious names.
Don't tell me to list them off.
Well, go on, whilst you're here.
How
Nothing
many
else is going on.
Well, okay, how many are there to name? You can tell me that and then I'll count them up as I go along.
Okay, well, saying there's 1, 2, 3, 4.
Is that it? Okay, that may be
that is. So yeah, he would actually go clear as not equal 5th, just 5th by himself on the all-time list, behind 4 drivers.
Okay, so that would be... Oh, Risky. No, he's not there, but that's a safety car, so I've been bailed out here as we watch Risky stick it in the wall. Well, isn't that good news? I don't have to think. Although it would be Arnold, Khalifa, probably Jamie as well.
Yep.
Arnold, Khalifa, Jamie, Kyle?
Correct.
Is that
all
it?
of those.
There we go.
Yeah, that's it. All those 4 on double figures as well. Kyle with 10, Khalifa and Arnold on 11, and Jamie clear on 13. But yes, safety car.
Yes, we were watching Risky. He was having a fight out there, and he was clearly just losing on the traction out of the first set of chicanes. We were watching it, which is lucky. But yeah, I mean, it seems the track was getting drier. I mean, it still looks incredibly, you know, wet. You can see it's just a sheet of water on there still, but yeah, the struggles that they were going through there, and well, I suppose the inevitable accident happened in the end. Is anyone going to pit under the safety car? I'd be surprised. Corey will now get the play-up point as long as he just stays out at the end of this.
He's already got it.
Oh, has he
It was
already
lap
got
18.
it? Oh, sorry,
Yeah.
I'm sitting on board SG Master. It still says 18, but of course he hadn't crossed the line yet. So yes, J-Luke, he loves a safety car pit stop, doesn't he? He's in the pits again.
Corey, by the way, with his 3rd stage win of the season, which is his 7th of his career.
And
A few coming in. Gareth, Pete, Ben.
OKK's not pitted this time, right? I was surprised he didn't join him. And J-Luke into the mix. J-Luke only coming out in 11th place. It's not too bad considering he's finishing. You know, he's finished all his pit stops. So this just puts him on some fresh tyres, which could get him to the end of the race now if it doesn't dry up. So that's the real benefit to this. So this actually could put him in a very nice position because the leaders are already behind the safety car. So even if they pit it now, I think Jimmy might actually be able to jump them. So he's actually, how many seconds of penalties has he got? He's got, oh come on, where is it? 3 seconds. So, you know, this might actually be a strategic masterclass that we are watching right now. So keep your eye on him. We know he likes a good win around here, out of nowhere, and it ends up being quite a big win at that.
Sorry, let's just be keeping up with the non-mandatories. I mentioned Pete's name, he didn't pit. It was Gareth, J-Luke, Ben Harrett, Jake and Yori on that occasion. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Jamie's win here in Season 2 was a bit of a strategic masterclass, wasn't it? Mixed conditions.
Yep. Ended up on the dries, on the softs, and it ended up being a very good strategic move. And it was pretty decent. I mean, it was actually effectively uncontested. So, if he can pull that type of thing off again today, he will be, well, he'll be very happy indeed.
Absolutely. That would be a 14th career win.
Yes, a very handy total. But he's not done it yet. But we do know he likes the odd win in places where he doesn't maybe think he'd win. I'm sure he didn't think at the start of the race he'd be sitting in a position where we're now saying he may have a chance of winning. Obviously, we'll now turn around and watch the rain stop, and he'll be like, shouldn't have pitted. But he only lost 2 positions anyway. It just gives him the grippier tyre, even if it does dry up. So, I suppose there wasn't really anything to lose doing this.
Not at all. Corey. Just looking at some stats here. 49, 50, 51, 52, 53. So yeah, Corey becomes the 2nd driver this season to cross 50 laps led. He is now on 53. That's just for the season.
It does look like it's getting a bit brighter out there, doesn't it? I mean, I do wonder
really
how soon this rain will stop. It does feel like it's going to stop. I'd be very surprised if it goes and gets heavier from here. Is that safety car going to be in as well? There could be.
This is the latest it would call itself in, isn't it, right here? I don't think Yori's close enough.
Yeah.
So we'll get one more lap.
It would be taking the mech now and went it before. But it won't. So we will have one more lap of the safety car. And I wonder how much Corey would have learnt from the last restart. How much Kieran would have learnt from the last restart. Because obviously, we saw Ben Harrett, the leader at that point in time, nearly stack it, trying to get himself on the throttle. It's not an easy traction zone. So they've got to be careful. And Jamie moves out of position because OKK has now done his customary pit under the safety car. It took him a while, but he's done it. He must be under some sort of like a bet. Because he keeps doing it. At the weirdest times. He's just been considering his options, thinking, do I pit now? No. Yes. And
don't forget, he has completed his mandatories as well. That's
yeah.
3 non and 2 illegal, or 2 required.
Like, I think this is just ensuring he gets to the end of the race, really, isn't it?
Yeah. Absolutely. Odd to see Arnold and Iceman with
what's
penalties.
Here? What on earth has happened here? I'm trying to. We're getting no good camera angles, but I have a feeling there's been an accident because MK Bourne is effectively stopped on track. They're all trying to let each other through. Someone's been through the polystyrene boards, and I'm not entirely sure what the situation is. You can see this group of drivers have lost 5.5 seconds, the train in front. Whatever's happened there, well, it seems to be resolved, but yeah, I'm not entirely sure what all that was all about.
No penalties have been given out by the game as yet.
Yeah. Well, odd one, but
so
we move on, I suppose. Because we have now got a safety car restart.
By the way, Corey's only done one stop. So, Cass, who's the net race leader? Is it Iceman? It is. No, it's not, because net race leader
Well,
I have down as
might be-
Jamie Griffiths.
Yeah, and he's got Jamie right behind him. So, who's going to do what then? On the restart, is Corey going to get away? Oh, he's nearly done the
he's
same
had a
thing!
moment.
And here comes Kieran! We've seen it happen again on the restart! And look at this! Is Arnold going to be able to get himself through as well? They're going to be 3 wide for the lead of the race in towards turn 1. And Corey's really pushing Kieran to the inside. He's going to have to back out early. That looked like there was a car spearing across the track. But look at Arnold! He's gone through into the lead. Brilliant.
It's been a long time since we said the 92 car's leading a race as Corey retakes the lead. And look at Arnold weaving and Corey weaving, trying to find somewhere to go and put their car. And Casper now at the inside of Kieran. Oh, what a brilliant restart that was. It must be cursed if you're the leader on a restart in the wet at Mexico. Corey has now composed himself and has a over 1 second lead.
Yes, I'm surprised that Arnold let him back through. I don't know if the game's told him to, or if he's picked up some damage or something, because look how slow Arnold is at the moment. He's going to fall right down the field if he's going to keep that sort of pace. Or is that just how good Corey has been today? Because, well, I suppose, yeah, he recovered well, and it's like he never lost the lead in the first place. And now, Connor and Jamie fighting away, and Connor off the road. He's now got to deal with the other Jamie, and oh, the scenes of these two end up in the wars again. We loved it last time. Let's see if it's going to be another classic as Jamie Griffiths does pick up a penalty for it. That may have just spooked him, because he's let J-Luke go through. But mind you, saying that, they're still side by side actually, as they come out of the final corner. So, yeah, these guys are brilliant. I love watching these two fighting away. But I think J-Luke might have stayed ahead this time a little bit longer. Give that like 10 seconds to age.
Yeah, he's doing alright so far.
Now, it's important to note, by the way, that Kieran and Casper, well, you know, and Corey for that matter, have all still kept themselves on no penalties, as Casper has a look on Arnold. That's going to be really useful for strategy decisions later on, if they need to make them. Because the penalty factor is going to make a big difference. If we end up, like I say, even getting a late safety car, they are doing really well to not pick up penalties.
I wonder if these guys know that the weather is going to go to dry.
Well, we don't know what the weather's going to do. We're just guessing, really, because we only got showed the start. For all I know, it will stay like this for the rest of the race. It could do. That could be why J-Luke pitted, because he's going to get to the end on these tyres, while the rest might not. But, yeah. Because the rain still hasn't stopped, has it? It looked like it's about to stop for ages, but then it hasn't. So I don't know. Maybe it won't stop.
Got Arnold back in the pack up here, doing Corey a massive favour. Who stays out again, by the way.
So fast as that for Corey there. Very nice indeed. Enjoying that out front, but Jamie's just taking it off him, which is understandable on much newer tyres. Now, anyone going to go for moving towards turn 1? We have a bit of side-by-side stuff behind. That would be for Jake and for Pete. So let's see how they get on through into the first set of chicanes. Looks like Pete is going to be ahead in 10th place. And very slightly for both of them too out of the corner, but that means that neither can put pressure on the other, because they both lost it, unless Jake just froze on the inside, but that is pretty unlikely. And yeah, Kieran is just sitting back here. I wonder when he's going to think about trying to pass Casper. I mean, he nearly led this race, did Kieran, but it just didn't quite happen. I mean, Corey had him right to the inside of the track. If he had tried to brake and go for the move, he would have ended up taking himself on Arnold out. it was actually really nice defending from Corey in the end. But yeah, Kieran, I suppose, just sitting there because it's a really big result this for him.
Yeah, it was very Schumacher Barrichello, wasn't it?
There was a bit, yeah.
Corey pushing Kieran to the pit wall. In fact, what I haven't told you yet, also think about it as well. Kieran sits 57, 67, 27 points behind Red Matt. So this is for what you get for P3, 14 points. So he would half that deficit. It is a massive result for Kieran if he can get it, because it would put Red Matt under pressure in the round of 6. Iceman and Casper doing enough, as is Corey with a race win. But will Corey actually win this race? That's the big question. I don't think he will, you know. With the masterclass from J-Luke. Yellow flags.
Oh, Jake, is that? He's recovered. Not even sure if he hit anything. But
by the way, have you checked on J-Luke's progress?
He's up to 5th
He's
place.
already onto the back of Iceman.
Yeah, he's got the other Jamie. He's got he's in between Connor and Jamie, so he's also making some progress, but not as much as obviously J-Luke. And look, we've seen this before from him here on this track. He's a shoo-in for victory for me as it stands right now. Because the others still have to pit, don't they?
Yeah, everyone in front of him has to pit.
It's a pretty grim situation for them, actually. Unless there's another safety car. But they'd have to have pitted by the time that comes out, or else they won't be able to take any advantage from it.
Yeah, whereas Jamie could pit under safety car, put, I don't know, say dries on, for example, but it's a free pit stop for him because he's already completed the strategy. Casper with the fastest lap now.
Yeah, he's doing well actually to stretch his legs after Arnold got out of his way and pitted. So he did have more pace in him, so it's not Kieran the one who might be feeling a little bit under pressure, but J-Luke, he's going to be happy to sit here. And Gareth now up into 7th place. He's making a bit more ground up, but he still needs a massive miracle to happen, because he has made 2 stops, and I'm sure one of those was under safety car.
Here comes Jamie on Gareth. No, he gives up on that. It is worth noting, by the way, Arnold, when he pitted from P2, come out in P15.
Yeah, it's not a good position, is it? He's nowhere near OKK either.
No, so if you add...
And OKK's going to the end as well, isn't he? A few of these guys in front are going to the end.
Yeah, so if Corey were to pit now, he comes out again behind OKK, or at least right next to him. So it's very good for the likes of... what have we got here?
In the wall, could be safety car, is safety car. Oh dear, oh dear. If you're in the top 4 right now, you are not going to be finishing there. Do they pit anyway? What do they do? What do they do? Do they pit anyway?
They would lose track position twice, there's no point. I don't think anyone's going to pit here, Owen. Maybe OKK.
Who then still needs to finish their pit strategy just while we're under safety car then?
I'll let you know once all the cars are filed through. I'm just checking for the non-mandatory stuff. Pete is going to pit.
Yep, not a surprise with the front wing gone.
Arnold, Esty stay out. And Jordan, what will Jordan do?
He will
stay out. Okay, so let me add Pete to my list. Who needs to complete a mandatory stop? So I'll give you the rundown. Corey, Casper, Kieran, Iceman, Connor, Gareth, Jamie Griffiths is fine, as is J-Luke. Ben Harrott needs to make a stop. MK Bourne needs to make a stop. Yori is complete, so Yori is net P3 behind the 2 Jamies. Jake is good to the end. OKK is good to the end. As is Arnold.
And SD.
As is ST. And as is Jordan. Remember, Jordan needs to finish P2 here. Also, by the way, Pete down in P17.
So when all this shakes out then, we're going to have a bit of a mixed up order. So
we sure are.
So the classic that we've been hoping for all night, it might still happen.
It's going to come at the very end, isn't it?
Yeah, just where
And,
we like it.
By the way, I don't know if you noticed last week, I did a most wins in the post-season chart, and you remember we've been talking all season. Jamie Wright, he's the best when it comes to the post-season when it matters. His win last week was number 8. Number 8 alone.
Why has this happened then?
Oh.
2 of the people who've completed it for Dries. It's for Dries. It's still raining. It's for Dries. That's incredible. Well, these guys can do this because they've already finished their pit strategies. This could be why I guess could be why Corey, Casper, etc. stayed out. So we might need to can the Jamie hype, although we know he's good on a set of softs here. So maybe not. But this is possibly landing Jamie Griffiths in a really nice position. But this is where these penalties come into play, right? Because he's got 9 seconds, Jake's got 15. Who else wants to brave a pit stop? Say Yuri, for example, does it, or Gareth does it, for example. You know, with no penalties out there. This could be massive, because that tells you this rain's going to stop in a minute. Possibly the track's already ready, because that'll be Jeff telling them to pit. They won't have just done that, surely.
It doesn't look ready, though. If you go on board with either of those two guys on
raining,
the softs.
Yeah. And
it has now stopped raining. Oh, no, there's a bit of rain.
But it's essentially stopping.
Yeah, so by the time the safety car period is over, they might struggle for a lap, but they should be good. And of course, anybody pitting following the safety car in, it's non-mandatory.
The leaders, the leaders can't think about this. Yeah,
they have to do a lap.
This is
so
where
it could be
J-Luke and OKK and Arnott, you know, these don't want to pit, perhaps. Like say Yuri with no penalties could be a massive pit stop for his season. He could end up in a championship 5 if he ends up winning this race, you know. So let's keep. I want to keep my eye on him. Will he follow the pack? Will he pit? I would have pitted. If I were you, man, I would have pitted. No one else has pitted. The rain has stopped. The track is drying. Jamie Griffiths is going to be on this train. But no one with no penalties has taken the gamble. I'd say, honestly, if you were Yuri sitting P10 right now, that's not even really a big gamble to take.
No, because of the penalties for Jamie and Jake.
So is that a potential missed opportunity for a second win of the season for Yuri? I mean,
it sure is, yeah.
Perhaps you'll still get the chance. But I do feel there was a... Maybe do you reckon they was going to try and get to the end on Inter... No, look at the track. It's bone dry now. They should have...
I don't know if I would go with bone dry, but...
Someone should have pitted.
Certainly drying. You can still see a reflection off the ERS light on the back of the cars.
We're going to have some mad dash to the pit here, because someone will end up stuck in a double stacking situation. Probably quite a few.
It's a day when anyone can win.
Literally.
And I mean anyone can win. You think Gareth or Jordan, if they win, they will knock Kieran out of the round of 6, well, at the round of 8. Kieran, who finished 3rd in the regular season, is potentially at risk here.
This safety car
really, in this lap.
The safety car really could not have been better timed for our entertainment, can I just say. I hope you're still here, because if you are still here, you're going to be treated to a quite frankly incredible looking 7 laps here, because we're going to have a lot of people rushing for the pits, possibly on the restart lap itself,
but
possibly...
they can't. It will not be mandatory. Anyone who's completed their mandatory pit stops, they will get away with it.
I'll rephrase. They can, but Corey can't. As you know, the rest of them, we've seen 2 difficult restarts here so far. Corey's been okay this time, right? But look at Kieran. Kieran's going side by side with Casper, and they're both
no one pits, by the way.
Going line or stern. 3 wide behind. J-Luke on his intermediates that are much younger than the rest of them out there. Is he going to be able to get himself up into 4th place? Look out for any sort of collisions through here as people struggle on the tyres. Jamie Griffiths as well. I want to keep my eye on him. He's not made any progress so far. He's sideways with the first corner. He looks so slow. So perhaps these salts might not be ready yet. Oh my goodness.
Give him a lap.
What do you do?
Give him a lap.
What do you do?
Well, at the moment, it's J-Luke still on for victory here. OKK and Yuri fighting with each other.
And colliding.
Oh, KK saves it. Nicely done. Oh, I'd have a stiff behind. Jake gets past Jamie, but they're struggling so much. I think it's a couple laps too early. But you gotta believe in the dry tyres.
Just remember, there's a lot of people who'll still lose time. So while you're still sitting here thinking, "Oh, this isn't working," you've only lost 3 seconds, and the rest are going to have to pit on green flag conditions most likely. So this really is not a bad situation to find yourself in. As Yuri and OKK thought about going for it again. I still wonder if Yuri thinks about a pit stop at some point. But let's see. Any of the leaders, are they going to pit? Because they have to. The problem is they have to. Kieran might have made a strategic masterclass. It might be a complete disaster class. Who knows? But Jamie, he's probably the only guy here, realistically, who can risk not pitting and just stick it to the end, because you'll have a 20-second gap, and it might
Kieran
just be enough.
Softs. And Ben Harrott. Ben Harrott on Inter, sorry.
Oh, that was a mistake from him, I'm guessing. He's been too busy trying to fix his front wing.
Yeah, and now Jake's starting to catch up to the back of the peloton, let's say, which Pete is currently at the tail end of, behind Christian Hataro in P12.
Surely someone out here is going to try and stay out. Look how far behind Kieran is. You can finish third if you're the top guy who stays out on Inter still. You probably, you know...
And who is that at the moment? It's
that'd be Jamie, pretty much, who does that.
Yeah.
But who wins the race? I mean, Kieran here, for being the first non-penalty ridden driver to go onto softs, if these are the ticket now, Kieran's going to win the race. Because he hasn't got the penalty. It's a serious handicap that these guys who have penalties are going to have to deal with.
Jamie's Inters will burn up as well, won't they, if it gets really dry? Bear in mind, there's 5 to go. Casper's all over Corey as well.
Yeah, Corey's properly slow. He looks like a driver. He looks like a driver who was set up for the wet conditions. How is he going to fare in the dry? And everyone is pitting, and this is going to cause. It's going to cause stacks. Oh, you just couldn't believe it, could you? It's Casper who has to. Oh, unbelievable. Now, where's Kieran? He needs this to be good. He needs it to be in front of Corey. It's a purple final sector for him. And he's going to beat Corey out of the pits. This is going to be the race leader. If he can get himself within 9 seconds. And he is within 9 seconds of Jamie. So, this is it. It's going to be Kieran versus Corey for victory. You're going to have a 5-lap shootout. Can Kieran win his first race in JACKOCAR? It looks like Corey's already getting to work on him and closing, and they'll have DRS as well. Down the inside goes Corey on Kieran, and he's made it work straight away. But look how much they're sliding through there. It's not cut and dry just yet. And J-Luke, he's still on these guys as well, although he does have the penalty of the 3 seconds only. I mean, if he can make something work... Oh, well, that corner cut isn't going to help. And Corey's got a penalty, so that puts Kieran back into play. So Kieran,
well,
this is the task for you. Don't bottle your first win, because that's what this is as it stands.
Arnold will pit, by the way, as will Jordan. Jake is the race leader, but he has 15 seconds of penalties. OKK is P2. Oh, wow. I'm just not sure, Owen. I don't know whether to commentate or watch it along with everyone else at home.
I'm sort of sitting here like a spectator, just sitting back. But someone has to give the soundtrack to it, so I'll do my best. As Kieran enjoys the DRS on Corey, it's going to mean that Corey can't pull away. It's going to mean that Jamie can't attack him. But it's going to be an onslaught of cars perhaps going on this, because I have a feeling this is just going to slow right down. I'm going to change this to Gat's leader. And by the way, OKK is the only one who stayed out in intermediates. We'll see how that works out. 4 laps, it might not. We're going to change the graphic just so you can see the sort of penalty situation here. Kieran is currently well within race-winning territory. These guys possibly will also come across OKK. That could slow them down. And they need to basically make every second they can. This
I
front
sense,
two.
Kieran! I sense OKK would get out of the way, but he'll have DRS, don't forget.
I can't believe this, Kieran. Honest to God. You just, yeah. I've got no words for you, mate. You've got to pass him on track now.
It's not over. It's free to go as the first man onto the softs sets the fastest lap. It's Jake, but Kieran is in Corey's DRS, and they are catching OKK. Yellow flags further back. It's for MK Bourne.
Well, here comes Kieran. He's going to have to pass him on track now. Here he goes.
Oh, nice
goes
move.
to the outside. He'll get a second dose of this DRS as well. So let's see if it's enough. He's got to get OKK in good time as well. If he gets OKK and Corey gets stuck, that might help him too. And will J-Luke be able to fight? How is Kieran doing? I think he's going to get past OKK. Corey, side by side, gets him as well. So does Jamie. And Iceman also. So these guys all come through. And this is so tense right now. Corey's out of VRS. Corey's out of VRS. So he's gonna... Oh, he's nearly lost it. Kieran pulling away right now.
I don't know what to say, Aaron.
I mean, you said this might be his day. As it stands with Corey running so low on ERS, it might just be. It might just be. But there's still 2 to go.
And Kieran has actually found a second in one sector on Jamie Griffiths, so he could even get this on the track just yet.
Here he comes.
It's going to be a hell of an arse, but the two leaders on the road, they would have burnt their dries up on the wet tyres. On the wet surfaces.
Yeah, I need to interrupt because look at J-Luke. He's going to try and get both these guys in one go. Look at this. Where's he going to go? Oh, he's hit the back of Corey. He thought about going through the middle as Corey goes side by side with Kieran. Jamie's got the most DRS out of anyone here. And that's why I'm hyping him up so much. If he can just get one of these two on this lap, he could fight on the last lap. And now Kieran's going to do so much defending. But from who? Because here comes Jamie on the inside. What a move! He's going to try and keep it on the track. And he then hits Corey. And look at Iceman getting involved. But Jamie takes the lead. Incredible stuff.
Nothing wrong with that. Brilliant stuff. Iceman getting involved as well. I think he had a moment out of turn 5 though. But it's all going to come down to this final bit of DRS on the main straight. As J-Luke streaks away on the crash! He's out!
I do not believe it, Jacko!
No way!
That's unbelievable! As here comes Kieran again, and he's just gonna sit back happily, and he just has to make a simple move on the main straight, and it would be the race victory. And look at Connor in this, by the way. He's on for a podium as it stands, as far as I'm aware. But... Okay, Kieran as well. Kieran really loses it, but here he goes. He's got all the ERS in the world as we start the final lap, and the DRS gets enabled. Kieran is going to take the lead once again in this race. And look at Iceman as well. Is Iceman going to try to get involved? Connor and Casper are fighting too. That's for a podium, I think, at this point. But Kieran literally loses it. He's just got to keep it facing in the right direction. Come on, man. You're on your last lap. This is going to be one of the most stressful ways to win a race. But he might just do it. Gareth and Jordan are fighting, but they're too low down in the pack. Even with the lack of penalties, I don't think Gareth's going to be able to get himself through here, especially if Kieran takes home the victory. Jake picks up another penalty. It's a shame, isn't it, really? Because he's going to fall right to the back of this field, potentially. He currently is 21 seconds clear of Gareth. Even Gareth will beat him.
By the way, look at the gap that Kieran has. It's set up for him.
Yeah, let's see it. Let's see if he can do it, though, first of all. Because we know Jamie, we thought he had it in the bag, and then he crashed. Here comes Jake out of the final corner. That P1 will not stand. Jamie comes round the final corner. His P1 will not stand. Kieran's P1 will stand, and he takes a fast lap. It's taken again by Casper as well, but you know what? I don't think he cares. Kieran's a winner in JACKOCAR at last.
Number 24, the youngest man to ever race in the Cup Series, has finally got himself a race win, Owen. Oh, and what a dramatic fashion as well.
See, we told you it'd be a classic.
Wow.
Oh my goodness. It just gets better and better this playoff season. And that is the major result that Kieran has been waiting for so long. And Corey, having dominated from the start, ends up a runner-up. Oh, he'll be frustrated by that one. But no one will be as frustrated as Jamie. Oh, Jamie.
By the
I can't
way,
even imagine how he's feeling right now.
Connor Byers, P4, don't forget. That's his best result of the season. Oh, unbelievable. Unbelievable, Owen. This league, every week, delivers.
It's absolutely unbelievable, isn't it? Thank goodness, the rain stopped at just the perfect time to just give everyone so much entertainment at the end. I just absolutely, I love watching these races. I love commentating on these races. And, Jesus. Wow. That was amazing. That was amazing.
I think Connor and Jamie Griffiths have put themselves in contention in the chase as well, because Jake only finished P8. But don't forget, Risky Racer retired? Yeah. So, I'm going to have to do some admin after this, aren't I?
Yeah, probably. I've got 10 seconds here. Kieran from Corey, Casper, Connor, Jamie, Iceman, Gareth, Jake, Yuri, and SC Matson, Jordan, Pete, Ben, and then MK Bones, the last finisher. Retirements, Arnold, OKK, J Luke, Risky, and Redman. That's your order. They'll put another timer up now, won't they? Now, for goodness sake, I thought I was under time pressure there. Well, there's your order. The only man with no penalties, I believe, was Gareth in the end. And I got him a P7. Not quite enough to stay in, but, I just... You know that buzz you get after a really, really, really good race?
Yeah.
And I wasn't even the one taking part in it. I can't imagine what the people taking part in that felt. But, well, we've got to say, we've lost 2 more drivers. Because that is Gareth and it's Jordan out. We're now into a last of 6. And I think if you're sitting there red Matt, I mean, we mentioned him a little bit before, having crashed out today and having Kieran of all people win the race, do you reckon that puts him under a tiny little bit of pressure in the next 2 races?
Well, with Kieran winning, absolutely yes. And don't forget, just to roll on with the
Casper podium as well. I mean, he was up there.
Yeah. To roll on with the Kieran hype train, we've got Japan.
Whoa, look at this.
Not next week, but the week after, one of his best races.
I hope
and
Ben,
USA.
I hope Ben's right by this. I know I'm interrupting you, but if he's right, Casper, Corey, and Kieran are all on equal points now. If that's true, you're in for just an incredible end to this playoffs.
We'll get some provisional standings out ASAP.
Yeah.
Brilliant. But yeah, no, we'll have to work out the points. Anyway, it's the United States next week. I would say our home race. It's not really, but we pretend it is.
Let's not go that
far. Owen, round it up for us.
Well, that's a classic example of don't leave to the checkered flag, because I know the race was a little bit stale earlier. I was listing off stats, but in the end, we got some brand new stats, and stats that certain drivers will be very happy with, and I hope everyone enjoyed watching it. It's been 4 races of playoffs, 4 classics. It's certainly been now, I can easily sort of say it, this has been the best playoffs campaign we've ever had. And even if it all fell apart at the end, honestly, I just think this has been fantastic so far. So please do join us for the next chapter next week. So thank you all for watching. Enjoy your night, and safe travels. And take care, and all the other stuff. I've got a lot of things I say when I'm leaving, so I'm just going to say stuff.